everybody to close your eyes for a minute. A couple moments. Close your eyes. Now, I'd like for you to think of a man in your life. Could be your father, your brother, son. Could be partner, friend. And really see them in your mind. Like, I really see them. Like, what's the face that they're making? What's the clothes that they're wearing, the posture that they have? And maybe if you breathe, like when you breathe in deep, maybe be able to smell them, smell their scent. So as you see this person, I want you to think of, the question to think of is, do you know what they're carrying? You know what they're carrying. Open your eyes, please. Now, chances are, you may not know what they're carrying. And here's the crazy thing. You need to do that. This is one of the reasons why I do this work. Because one of the things I found is that the way men hold and carry is not an accident. It's conditioning. So from the point that we're young men, we get taught, like, stuff your stuff. Don't talk about it. I remember when I was going through some of the toughest times, people were like, maybe you better suck it up. And coming from a Caribbean household too, don't even come to me with that. Cry? Yes, you already know. I heard where you came from. So when I think about this, right, and I notice that, especially working with young men, and even I have it so myself, like I even found a tendency to be like, when he started crying, I'm like, man, shut up, toughen up. And I recognize, I'm like, dang, this is stuff that we hear. Push it down, don't say anything, manage your stuff. Manage it, and then guess what happens? It comes back to get us. Because there's a point in time where guys perform. It's a performance, like, hey, I got the mask on, like, hey, my name is this. I'm acting like somebody else just so I can get through, just so nobody knows the stuff I'm holding. And then what happens? The runway for performance runs out. And you may have heard a story. Young men passing away, cancer, stroke. It's real. I remember when I first started doing this, about like, I first started just as a trainer in yoga, then Reiki, shamanism, all these things and tactics so I could find my way. Because I was lost. I caught more from a Jamaican dad than what I thought a man was than I was taught. And then when the doo-doo hit the fan, golly, I was like, man, you didn't tell me about all this. When divorce came, and I had the lawyer fees, and I saw my bank account going down. Anyone that's been through divorce, congratulations and condolences, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. No. So I recognized, like, man, when I was going through it, I said, dang, I needed something. And it was at my darkest time. I remember I was like, when I was going through my divorce, I remember it was over, and then my job called me because I wasn't present. I was holding everything behind this mask, saying I'm fine. Hey, Paul, how you doing? I'm fine. Hey, Paul, how you doing? I'm good. Until one of my mentors he's like, how you doing, Paul? I'm like, I'm fine. He said, oh, you're effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. I said, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That's exactly what I am. That's exactly. That was fine. That was fine. Okay. Is this normal? But the thing that I recognize is like, when I kept acting like everything was normal, when I was burning inside, I was like breaking down. It got to the point where I had nothing. And I remember walking across this bridge, and I was like, it's a wrap. And when I closed my eyes, I can still feel the rust on my fingers as I was getting ready to jump. Now, I don't know whose voice I heard, but they said it's not your time yet. And maybe my dad in the spirit, maybe my mom, maybe my ancestors were like, nah, son, it's not your time yet. Get off the bridge. Go sleep it off. And no Heinekens. I was like, all right. So I went home and had a nap. And then the next morning, it was like my mom came to me, and when my mom was alive, whenever I went through some stuff, my mom was like, you should write a book. And I was like, well, all right then. And here's where it started. Now, let me take you through it. Now, as I was going through this and as I came back, I want to take you through this real quick. These methods that I took on for myself and these movements that I created for the book for other men. Because I know I got a son. I know, like, listen, there's one thing that's certain in life is death and taxes. I'm not staying on this life alone. As much as I want to live as long as Methuselah, I'm not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I got to leave something for my son so they can figure out their own way to be a man in this world. Because as you can see out here, it's reckless. Men have no base. There's even stuff on Netflix about the manosphere. And this toxic masculinity, which really all it is an immaturity. You know why? Because men don't know. We don't know. So guess what? This is what we do. In the first movement, there's 3 movements. First movement is step into the arena. The second movement is master your mojo. Third movement is rise into your king. Step into the arena. When you hear arena, what do you think about? Fighting. What else? Performance. Right. Fighting and performance. Right? When we step into the arena, one of the things that I had to do was I had to look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't run anymore. I could blame everybody else. I could blame a system. I could blame a person. I could blame my former wife. I could blame anybody else. But you know what? It brought me right back to where I started. So I couldn't run anymore. I had to say, look at myself right in the mirror. And what that included is, what's the story I'm telling myself? We live by our narratives all day. What's the story I'm telling myself about love, about loss, about life? Because with whatever I was going through, I could blame whoever I wanted to, but when it all came back to it, this is the energy inside of me I'm pulling in. So what's the story I'm telling myself? And in this part of the book, this is where I started to look at my stories. Then look at the patterns around it. Then look at the armor. Don't get me started on armor. Especially in relationships. What? I'm a Stonewall and a recovering people pleaser. So I'd be like, hey, everything's fine, honey. And all of a sudden, like, she should know what's going on with me. I'm not going to talk to her right now. You know, I'm just going to sit over here and not do a thing. And I'm going to huff and puff, kick around and whatnot, make a whole bunch of noise like she should know. That was my mode, because you know why? That was my way of defending myself, because I didn't want her to get too close. Because you know what my story was? If I allowed them to love me, they leave. So I'm never going to let anyone get close. So now I had to look at, like, dang, what's this armor? I got to learn to take it off, because as much as this armor protects me, there's a point where it harms me, it cuts me, harms me to shreds. So after I got to look at myself, right, look in the mirror, and really look at what's the roots of this? Where did I get these stories from? Where did I catch this stuff about manhood and how it's supposed to show up? So now that I look at it, now I go master my mojo. That's the second movement, master your mojo. When you hear mojo, what do you think of?
Your vibe and your energy.
Vibe and energy. Anyone else? You go with that, vibe and energy.
What I'm good at.
Listen, I've been working with men for 15 years. When I started with the Mankind Project, and actually for you came from New York, when I started the Mankind Project in all Kings, man, listen, we take men of color up to the woods. Some of this is the first time they've ever been up there. And they're like, what the heck is this? I remember the first time I went to the woods, I was like, man, I know how this ends, man. Black people in horror movies, I'm a rap. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about you, man. Where's my car keys? Give me my phone, man. I don't know no cats. But what the thing was, I had to tap into, what does my mojo mean? How am I using this energy? Because listen, I had some stuff with relationships where it went very crazy. I was using my energy and going all off in the place, and I wasn't directed with it. I had to learn to harness my energy. Well, part of that is I had to learn, like, what's my magic? You know, what's my goodies? What's the stuff that's inside of me that no one else has but me? Oh, and then once I got that, I had to look at the words I was telling myself. When I'm working with men, whether it's young men in detention centers or men in circle, the words that we talk to ourselves is disgusting. Oh, I'm a piece of meat. I'm this. Oh, I'm stupid. Why did I do this? All the stuff that we carry, guilt and shame, we talk to ourselves, and guess what? It lives in our body. Here's what, real quick story. How I know this in my body? For years, I dealt with hip pain. For years. I was like, nah, I'm going to be fine. I would walk around. As soon as I go, I'll be in my house like, ugh. As soon as I get outside, I'll be like, hey, buddy. Come back inside. I was like, oh, God. Where's the bathtub and Epsom salt? Till the time COVID hit, and I was like, okay, I got to go see a doctor. And I went to go see the doctor, and he came, he x-rayed my hips. They came in, they said, how the hell did you get in here? I said, I walk, bro. What you talking about? He was like, you got the hips of a 90-year-old Olympian. Oh. I said, what? He showed me my x-ray. He's like, you got no cartilage, you got no bone. How did you come in here? And how are you only 45 years old? And I swear to goodness, it's like everything that my body was holding, it was like, finally somebody's listening. And I swear to goodness, I had to get a cane the next day because I was walking like Fred Sanford. Whoever remembers Sanford and Son? It's like, I had to get 2 new hips. 2 new hips at 45 years old because I was holding pain. I was afraid of my direction. So I had to tap in. What was I telling myself? Well, also, what was the wound I was afraid to let go? What was that wound that was carving me up inside that I didn't want to tell anybody about? Hey, Paul, you heard it? No. Why are you crying? Don't worry about it. I just watched Shawshank Redemption. But really, I had to learn what was going on and figure out, let's get to the roots and start to bring this up because lineage lives. Issues are in the tissues. If you read Mark Wallen's work, the stuff that we tell ourselves, it didn't start with us. It's years and generations of collected trauma, voices, methods, tactics that we live and we have to consciously break. And once we recognize that, that's the third movement, rise into your king. And it's not about king like, oh, I'm dominant, I'm controlling. No, man, this is what's happening inside. Can you be the authority of yourself? That's the piece. What's your mission? And I'm not talking about a job title. That doesn't mean crap right now. I'm talking about your mission. What are you here for? Because you're here for something. You're not here. God didn't make waste. So get on task. What's the mission? And this comes to what's the world I want to create? And what am I doing to get there? Who's the people that I'm hanging out with? What's the environment that I set up? What is that? That's where we start to rise into this kingdom of sovereign energy. And this is what I want for men. Because, I created this book, and bless up to mom for that motivation. But when I created this, I knew I needed it. And I'm telling you, every year since I wrote it, I come back to this book and there's something else. I'm like, dang, I said that? Boy, that was good. that was pretty special. I don't know where that came from. But listen, when it comes down to it, I wanted to share this quote that really resonated with me. And every time I think about it, I remember when I was finishing up the book and the mission part came up. And somehow, you know how sometimes things just come to you, it's like Spirit just laid it down in your lap. So this quote came, and I want you to hear this. This guy, Ian Rand, said, "The man without a purpose is a man who drifts at the mercy of random feelings or unidentified urges and capable of any evil because he is totally out of control of his own life." This is what makes it real, man. Mission is not about a luxury, it's a necessity. Yes. So that's why I wrote this. And listen, this is here. This is here. There are people that read it like, oh man, this applies for men and women, so okay, whatever. But my invitation is, come see me. I'm right over here. The book is here. I do the arena for men where we sharpen men. We help men get on goals. So like whatever your domain is where you're struggling, come on, man, let's talk about it. Because one of the things I recognize for men, we have crappy at making goals. Hey, what do you want to do this week? I want to be happy. What? What does that look like, man? Huh? Yeah, I'm like, what does that look like? So it's about creating goals. So we have these different methods. I have the drum over there if you want a little bit of drum recalibration, I got you. And also I have representation of one of the programs that we have for men, the Mask of Men. So we got stuff over here. There's a discount for my book today for this special event. Lonnie, I appreciate you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for this. Thank you, everybody.